Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Deacon Hayes from Well Kept Wallet, and today we are doing another YouTube Live where I'm going to talk about 10 ways that you can reduce your expenses. But first, I wanted to give you a couple of story updates here. So we'll switch over to the desktop and see what we can do here for our articles for today. So we have a couple of articles in the news that I thought were interesting. So billionaire no more, Kanye West, because of his comments, his net worth is no longer in the billions. So Forbes has pulled him from the Forbes billionaire list. That's unfortunate for him. But that's definitely big news today. Also, Hobby Lobby founder gives away his company and says he chose God. This is interesting. If you read it, basically he's just passing on the baton to his future heirs, so his kids, grandkids, etc. But I thought that was interesting. So I'd love to kind of give you some up-to-date stuff that's going on. But back to what we're at. For this YouTube Live, we're going to be doing ways that you can reduce your expenses. A lot of these are ways that I personally have done and that I think will be super helpful to you in this season of life. So give me 1 second here. I want to make sure that we are doing all the if you can hear me okay, let me know in the chat if you have any issues, but we'll get to it. So here are the 10 ways you can reduce your expenses. And like I said, these are some things that I've personally done. So the first thing is to call your current providers, right? So if you have an internet provider, if you have your cell phone provider, car insurance, whatever it might be, call them and say, hey, do you have a better deal? I remember when we were trying to pay off our debt, and we paid off $52,000 of debt in 18 months by doing a lot of these things. And one of them was we called our cell phone provider and said, hey, do you have a better deal? And we were able to get our cell phone down, I think about $50 per month. Well, over a year, that's $600 in savings, right? So I'm like, oh, this is kind of a game. What else could I call? So I called our internet provider. And at the time, I don't think you can do this now, but at the time, we were getting about $20 per month for our high-speed internet, which was insane, right? And I think we were paying like $100. So it's like, that's $80 of savings. So now if you put that throughout a year, that's $960 of savings, roughly. So basically, calling your current providers and saying, hey, how can I get a better deal is a great way to reduce your expenses, and it doesn't change your lifestyle. You could save thousands per year just by that one tip. The second thing that you could do is canceling unused subscriptions. So going through your bank account, going through your credit card statement and saying, hey, do I use these subscriptions anymore? And some good examples could be Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, YouTube Premium, Amazon, whatever their premium version is, right? You could say, hey, am I using these enough? Could I find a replacement that's cheaper, or could I just cancel it? You could also look at things like your gym membership, or maybe memberships that only come once a year, right? And say, hey, this is an annual expense. Do I really need this expense? And so canceling unused subscriptions can be a great way to reduce your expenses. The third way would be to brown bag it or bring your lunch to work, right? So we all know that going out to eat is expensive. It's $10, $15, $20 easy to just get lunch, right? And so if you can make sandwiches at home and bring them to work, maybe salads if you're more into that, right? Whatever it might be, bringing your lunch to work, and not saying every day, but let's say you did it 4 out of the 5 days, right? Reduce your expenses drastically that way instead of eating out. The fourth way that you can save money and reduce your expenses is by doing your own repairs. So I'm not talking about like really technical stuff. If I need an electrician, I hire an electrician. If I need a plumber for like a big leak, I'm going to do that. But if I need to repair a toilet, I'm going to do it myself and watch a YouTube video. Or my wife wanted to put a screen door on our back patio, and she had someone quote $200. And then I went to Home Depot and I looked at the door. I'm like, this is like 8 screws. Like, I can do this, right? So we're going to save $200 by me installing the screen door instead of paying somebody else to do it. Now, obviously, you need to know your skill level. There's certain things maybe we shouldn't be doing, right? We should hire people to do. But if there's something that you can do, it's a great way to save money and reduce your expenses. Another thing you can do is get a programmable thermostat. So if you have one of those already, okay, you can also go and seal your house, make sure your windows and doors are sealed so that there's no heat coming in or cold coming in that turns on your heater or your air conditioner. So that's something for you. But if you don't have a programmable thermostat, this is where it will automatically turn on and off for you. So it's not just running all the time. That is huge, right? One that we have is Nest. There's another one called the Ecobee. Honeywell even has other versions, right? If you're looking for something on the cheaper options. But getting a programmable thermostat could save you hundreds of dollars a year, if not thousands, depending on how often your air conditioner and your heater is running. So that would be the fifth way that you can reduce your expenses. By the way, if you have questions at any time, go ahead and drop them in the chat. I'll see if I can answer those by the end of this YouTube Live. But the idea is really I want to go through these 10 different ways to reduce your expenses and then answer questions at the end so we can get you where you want to be with your finances. The sixth way, this is something that I personally do, is to buy used. You know, the first thing you want to look at is cars. Cars depreciate 40% in the first 5 years. So, and it used to be 60%. So, and it probably will go back to that. But the idea is taking a 40 to 60% hit in 5 years is huge on your net worth, on your ability to spend. So buying used is a great way to go. We pay cash for our cars. We save up that cash. We buy a 5-year older car. And as you have more money, you can afford a newer car. But for us, that's a huge way to save money. The average car payment is $667 per month. If you were to take that and invest it over a long period of time, you would have millions of dollars. I do this study, even if you just did $200 per month for 45 years at 10% would be $3.8 million. Now you're like, okay, I don't have that long of a time frame, right? So let's just say we'll put it at 8%. You still have $1 million, right? The idea is instead of having a car payment, pay cash, use that extra money to invest or pay off debt. So that would be the sixth way, is to buy used. And this could be not just cars, but furniture is another great way that you can save, right? So going out and buying used furniture, maybe it's a coffee table, maybe it's a couch, a chair, whatever it might be. If you go to a retail store, they're going to be expensive. So making sure that you go to Craigslist, OfferUp, places like that where you can find used furniture and save huge there. I also buy clothes used on Poshmark. So Poshmark's an app where you can buy designer clothes for less, pay a fraction of what you pay at the retail store. So probably like 70% less. So really, and it's great quality. You look at the pictures, you can ask questions, and they have a good reputation. But buying on Poshmark, buying on eBay, there's some other places, Mercari is another one, Facebook Marketplace. But buying used can be huge savings. The seventh way that you can save money is to use your appliances in the off-peak hours. So obviously the biggest one is going to be your air conditioner, your heater. So making sure that you're running that at off-peak hours. What does that mean? When everybody else is not using it. So typically between, let's say, 9 to 5, people are at work, so they're not using their appliances. So that's usually an off-peak time. You want to check with your local utility company and say, what are my off-peak hours? Because you could save huge money there, because they're willing to give you savings when you do it when you run yours on the off-peak, because you're saving them money and usage during those times. So that's the seventh way that you can save money. The eighth way would be to turn off electronics. So let's just say we're teaching our kids that when you leave a room, turn the light off. When you're done with the TV, turn it off, right? Like the idea is to use as little electricity as possible to try to save, and every little bit helps. The ninth way, and this is something we recently ran into, is to double check your bills. So I was looking through our statement and I saw that there was a $15 fee for a Venmo purchase, and I asked my wife about it. Apparently she had hooked up a credit card instead of the bank account, and we got a $15 fee because they consider that to be a cash advance. So make sure that you're hooking up bank accounts to Venmo so you don't get those fees from a credit card. But also just double check your bills, because there could be all sorts of fees that you don't recognize. This is especially important when it comes to your cell phone bill, when it comes to your internet bill, electricity, whatever, anything that could be variable. That means that it could fluctuate each month. Make sure that you're checking those bills, that you're not getting fees that you shouldn't be getting. And if you get a fee that you should get, you can call and ask them to waive it, or just make sure that you don't do that action in the future, right? So instead of using a credit card for Venmo, make sure you're using a bank account instead. So once again, if you have any questions at all, go ahead and leave those in the chat. If you want to learn more about ways to improve your financial situations, I have a free money masterclass. If you go to wellkeptwallet.com, is the best place to sign up for that, right on the front page. But we will equip you in 5 days with everything you need to know to be financially successful. And this is part of that class. The 10th way that you can save money, and this is one I actually did a segment for ABC 15, which is like a local ABC affiliate, where we were trying to save money on groceries. So I went to the grocery store and I went and I looked for options. And one of the things I found that was very interesting is if you check the price per ounce at the grocery store, you could save huge money. So when it comes to buying meat, when it comes to buying stuff that's packaged, look at the price per ounce. And I'll give you an example. I looked at 2 different bags of chicken nuggets. One was 18 cents per ounce, one was 80 cents per ounce. One was 4 times as expensive as the other one. And they almost look the same because they have about the same amount of air inside them, but one was heavier than the other, right? So really, checking the price per ounce can be a huge way to save money. So these are 10 ways. I'll just kind of recap them for anybody who came at the end. If you have questions, drop them in the chat here. Would love to answer those questions. But the first way is calling your current service provider. So this is going to be your internet, your cell phone, etc., saying, do you have any better deals? If they don't, shop around. The second way would be to cancel any used subscriptions, gym membership, streaming services like Hulu, etc. Cancel those. Number 3, bring lunch to work. And I mean, if you do it every day, great. If not, say, hey, I'm going to do it 4 out of the 5 days or 3 out of the 5 days to try to create the habit of bringing your lunch to work versus eating out, because we know that's expensive. The fourth way would be to do your own repairs, but only the ones that you can do yourself. If you need a professional, hire a professional. The fifth way, programmable thermostat. If you have one of those, just make sure your whole house is sealed, windows, doors, so that way, air isn't getting in and turning on your air conditioner and your heater. The sixth way, buying used, is a great way. I appreciate whoever's watching. This is awesome. If you have questions, please ask them in the chat. The sixth way is to buy used. Seventh way is to use your appliances in off-peak hours. The eighth way is to turn off all your electronics. The ninth way is to double check your bills. And the 10th way is to check the price per ounce. Guys, this is really awesome. I love these YouTube lives. I want to do more of them. If you have topics you want me to cover, drop that in the comments below. We'll do my best to cover those. So far, we've covered creating a budget that actually works. Their comment was, I didn't realize how easy it is to actually budget. Another one that we covered was ways that you can make extra money. We have another one coming up, which is going to be how to track your financial progress, right? So budgeting is different than tracking your financial progress. Tracking your financial progress is saying, hey, am I saving money? Am I paying down my debt? Are my assets increasing or decreasing, right? And we're going to go over that in our next YouTube Live. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you next time.